Morning, everyone. It's time for Darren's 5-minute bit of wisdom. Today, I want to talk about how you can find out if you are open-minded or if you are possibly acting like you are in a cult and keeping everyone that is close to you from discovering truth. So, yes, I know that's it's a lot to take in, but I think that there's a lot more of us that are acting like we're in cults than we realize. Or maybe we are, maybe it's not that we're acting like we're in cults. Maybe it's more like the tribe that we follow is treating us like it's a cult that they want us to remain in. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Before I get too far, I want you to consider going to YouTube if you like this content. Darren Keim, like, subscribe, share, and join me. I'm doing these things every day if I can. And anyways, back to the topic. So what do I mean by this? So there are tribes that we've got. They are, we see it in politics a lot. And unfortunately, everything has become political. How do you know if you are living in an open-minded situation, or if you are closed-minded, or the people that you are in tribe with are trying to keep you in a closed-minded situation? Okay. I grew up Christian in a conservative Mennonite home. I still hold to the Christian tenets. I believe in Jesus. I believe in all of those things. But there was a lot of interactions that I had growing up, just being around the church, where there were certain cases, certain times where I was basically told, if it was somebody that wasn't a Christian, or if it was, especially if somebody was an atheist, that these are people, these are circumstances, topics that you want to steer clear from. You do not want to be influenced by them because they may lead you astray. That was kind of the language that was told to me. Do we see any similarities like that in politics right now? Do we see any similarities where there are people that maybe you are following or that you're watching on TV, i.e. a lot of the news networks, where they say, maybe they say defamatory things towards other networks and call them, I'm sure you've heard the phrase fake news before, and that doesn't mean that there's not fake news, because there absolutely is fake news. But when a source tells you that another source is fake news, or they tell you that all of the other sources are fake news, and they basically try to get you to not listen to another point of view. If the material that you are consuming or the people that you are following are trying to get you to remain in a quote-unquote camp and are basically forbidding you from hearing another point of view because they don't want you to be quote-unquote led astray, that's a solid indication that they are keeping you close to them as a cult would do. Now, how do you know what is true? How do you know what to follow to remain open-minded? Open-mindedness means that, this is what I think it ultimately boils down to. You believe in the truth. You want the truth. No matter what you've believed up to this point, you're willing to hear another point of view if it will lead you closer to the truth. The danger is, for a lot of people, they don't understand how to discern what the truth is. So they stay close to the people that they trust. But there are ways that you can know what the truth is. The ways that you can know what the truth are by asking a lot of questions. You actually discover it by asking more questions, not less. So whatever your particular philosophy or belief is, you've got to put it up to the test by asking the difficult questions about it. And the things that you don't have a good answer for, you've got to be willing to explore the person that might be critiquing your point of view and what they're saying about it. Maybe they've got some truth to what they're saying. Maybe there's some merit to what they're saying. And if you're just believing something blindly, then that's something that you might want to look into. We see a lot of this when, again, I talked about it yesterday. The hot topic right now, and remains the hot topic, is COVID. There are so many different sources saying so many different things. And when somebody questions the established policy that we're seeing that the government is doing and a lot of businesses, a lot of people in the news networks, when we question those things, the proper or appropriate response back from these institutions is not to villainize you or to demonize you or to make you feel wrong for asking questions. That should never be the case. They should, an open-minded and an honest organization that isn't acting cult-like would be open to all forms of questions and criticisms, because this is showing that they're willing to grow. And if a criticism is brought to them, are they willing to address it and to admit when something is falling short of what they say that it should be? Because if they're not, and if they are making attacks maybe against the character of the person who is raising the question, or they're trying to smear their reputation by way of maybe their history or something like that, rather than addressing the merit of what their criticism is. These are all signs of cult-like behavior. So it's important that we see some transparency, that we see the ability to answer questions honestly, to ask questions honestly, and to be willing to listen to people that maybe we don't agree with, because if we don't have a response back, a clear-cut refutal or a rebuttal of what maybe their criticism is, then we have no guarantee that we're not the one that's wrong and maybe they're the one that's right. So these are all things to consider. In today's landscape, it's very important, because today's landscape, with a lot of different things coming at us in opinions, look at the manner in which they are presenting their opinions, and are they trying to keep you from hearing anybody else's? If so, there's a solid chance that they are not being open-minded, and if they are your sources, they are also going to be preventing you from being open-minded, and that's not what you want if you ultimately want to know what is right, and because what is truth is going to bring you the best outcomes, no matter what. So whoever is chasing after the truth, they're staying consistent with what reality is. They're not just feeding themselves lies because they feel good, because there is a difference between facts and feelings. All right, that's what I got for you today. If you like this content, go to YouTube, search Darren Keim, like, subscribe, share. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.